Arjuna said, "If your intuition idea is better than action, Janardana, then why do you urge me into this terrible action, Keshava? With equivocal speech you confuse my intuition. This one thing tell me without doubt, by which I should attain what is better." The Blessed Lord said, "In this world a twofold basis was previously taught by me, blameless one, the knowledge yoga of the Sankhyas and the action yoga of the yogis. Not by abstention from actions does a person attain freedom from action, and not by renunciation alone does one approach perfection. No one, even for an instant, can ever stay actionless. Everyone must perform action unwillingly by the qualities born of nature. Whoever sits restraining the powers of action with the mind, remembering sense objects, this deluded self is called a hypocrite. But whoever controlling the senses with the mind, Arjuna, engages by the powers of action in action yoga, unattached, this one is distinguished. You do controlled action. Action is better than inaction. Even your body maintenance could not be accomplished without action. Aside from action for the purpose of sacrifice, this world is bound by action. Perform action for this purpose, Kaunteya, free from attachment. Having sent forth creatures along with sacrifices, the Creator anciently said, "By this bring forth, may this be the milk of your desires. May you cherish by this the gods. May the gods cherish you. Cherishing each other, you will attain the supreme good. Cherished by sacrifice, the gods will give to you wished-for enjoyments. Whoever enjoys these without offering gifts to them is just a thief. The good who partake of the rest of the sacrifice are released from all evils. But the wicked, who cook for their own sake, enjoy impurity. Creatures come from food. Food is produced from rain. Rain comes from sacrifice. Sacrifice is produced by action. Know that God-produced action originates in imperishable God. Therefore, all-pervading God eternally remains in the sacrifice. Thus, whoever does not turn the revolving wheel here, who is malicious, sense-delighted, this one lives vainly, Partha. The person who is self-pleased and self-satisfied and self-content, this one's task is not found. Whoever has no purpose in what is done or not done, has no need of purpose in anyone. Therefore, without being attached, always perform the action to be done. Practicing action without being attached, a person attains the supreme. By action, Janaka and others attained perfection. You also, observing what the world needs, should act. Whatever the best do, that others do also. This sets a standard that the world follows. Partha, there is nothing for me to do in the three worlds, nothing unattained to be attained. Yet I engage in action. If I should not engage in tireless action at all, people everywhere would follow my path, Partha. If I should not perform action, these worlds would be ruined. I should be a maker of confusion, and I should destroy these creatures. As the unwise act attached to action, Bharata, so the wise should act unattached, intending to maintain the world. One should not cause the mental breakdown of the action-attached ignorant. The wise, practicing union, should encourage all actions. All actions being performed by the qualities of nature, the ego-deluded self thinks that the I is the doer. But knowing the truth, great armed one, of the two roles of quality and action, qualities work in qualities. Thus thinking, one is not attached. Those deluded by the qualities of nature are attached to qualified actions. The knower of the whole should not disturb fools who are ignorant of the whole. Entrusting all actions to me, meditating on the Supreme Soul, being free from desire, free from possession, fight, cured of evil. People who constantly practice this doctrine of mine, trusting, not complaining, they also are liberated from actions. But those who, complaining about this, do not practice my doctrine, confusing all knowledge, know them to be lost, thoughtless. Even the wise act according to their own nature. Creatures follow nature. What will constraint accomplish? Like, dislike, situated in sense and the object of sense, one should not come under the power of those two adversaries. Better one's own imperfect duty than another's duty well performed. Death in one's own duty is better. Another's duty brings fear. Arjuna said, "Then by what compulsion does a person commit harm, even unwillingly, Varshnaya, as if commanded by force?" The Blessed Lord said, "This is desire, this is anger, born of the emotional quality. Voracious and greatly injurious, know this to be the enemy here. As fire is obscured by smoke and a mirror by dust, as the embryo is enveloped by the amnion, so this is covered by it. Knowledge is covered by this eternal enemy of knowers in the form of desire, Kaunteya, which is an insatiable fire. The senses, mind, and intuition are said to be its seat. With these it confuses knowledge, covering the embodied. Therefore you, at first restraining the senses, Bharata Bull, kill this harmful thing that destroys intelligent knowledge. The senses, they say, are high. Higher than the senses is the mind, but higher than the mind is the intuition, but higher than the intuition is this. Thus, intuiting what is higher than the intuition, sustaining the soul with the soul, kill the adversary, great armed one, the desire form difficult to approach." The Blessed Lord said, "This imperishable yoga I declared to Vivasvat. Vivasvat communicated it to Manu, and Manu told it to Ikshvaku. Thus received by royal succession, the royal sages knew this. In the long time here this yoga was lost, foe scorcher. This same ancient yoga is declared by me to you today, since you are my devoted friend. This is the supreme mystery." Arjuna said, "Later was your birth, earlier the birth of Vivasvat. How should I understand that you declared this so in the beginning?" The Blessed Lord said, "Many of my births have passed away, and yours too, Arjuna. I know them all, you do not know, foe scorcher. Though being a birthless, imperishable soul, though being Lord of beings, controlling my own nature, I come into being by the magic of my soul. Whenever a decrease of justice occurs, Bharata, and an uprising of injustice, then I give forth my soul. For the protection of the good, and for the destruction of the evil-doers, for the purpose of establishing justice, I am born from age to age. Whoever truly knows my divine birth and action, having left the body, does not go to rebirth. This one comes to me, Arjuna. Passion, fear, and anger gone, absorbed in me, relying on me, many purified by disciplined knowledge have attained my existence. Whoever approaches me, I love them. People everywhere follow my path, Partha. Wanting successful actions, they worship gods here. Quickly in the human world successful action comes. 4 castes were brought forth by me, according to the distribution of the action qualities. Although I did this, know me as the imperishable non-doer. Actions do not affect me, not desiring their fruit. Thus whoever understands me is not bound by actions. Thus knowing, action done by the ancients was also for the seeking of liberation. Therefore you do actions as they were done earlier by the ancients. What is action? What is inaction? Even the poets were confused about this. I shall explain to you this action, which knowing you will be liberated from evil. Being enlightened about action and also wrong action, and being enlightened about inaction, the way of action is profound. Whoever perceives inaction in action and action in inaction is enlightened among people. This one does all action united. The one whose every undertaking is without desirous intention has consumed actions in the fire of knowledge. This one the enlightened call learned. Having abandoned attachment to the fruit of action, always satisfied, independent even while engaging in action, one does not do anything. Hoping for nothing with soul-controlled consciousness, abandoning every possession, performing action with the body alone, one incurs no guilt. Content with spontaneous gain, transcending duality, free from envy, indifferent to success and failure, even when acting one is not bound. With attachment gone, liberated, thought established in knowledge, action undertaken as a sacrifice is completely dissolved. God is the offering. God is the gift poured out into the fire of God by God. God is attained by one who contemplates the action of God. Some yogis practice sacrifice to the divine. Others offer sacrifice in the fire of God by sacrifice. Some offer hearing and other senses in the fires of restraint. Others offer sound and other sense objects in the fires of the senses. Others offer all sense actions and all breath actions in the yoga fire of self-restraint kindled by knowledge. Material sacrifices, discipline sacrifices, yoga sacrifices are thus some. Self-study of knowledge sacrifices and ascetics are of sharpened vows. Some offer inhalation into exhalation, also exhalation into inhalation, restraining the breathing paths, intent on controlling the breath. Others, regulating food, offer inhalations into inhalations. All these, knowing sacrifice by sacrifice, destroy wrongs. Those eating the sacred food left them from the sacrifice go to God eternal. Not even this world is for those not sacrificing. How then the other best of Kurus? Thus sacrifices of many kinds are spread out in the mouth of God. Know them all to come from action. Knowing this, you shall be released. Better than the sacrifice of material possessions is the knowledge sacrifice, foe scorcher. All action, without exception, Partha, is completely comprehended in knowledge. Know this, by respect, inquiry, service, knowers who perceive the truth will teach you knowledge, which knowing you shall not fall again into delusion, son of Pandu. By this you shall see every being in the soul, then in me. Even if you are the most evil of all the evildoers, by the boat of knowledge you shall cross over all wickedness. As wood kindled by fire is burned to ashes, Arjuna, the fire of knowledge burns all actions to ashes also. No purifier equal to knowledge is found in the world. The self perfected in union in time finds that in the soul. The trusting gains that knowledge which is supreme. Controlling the senses, gaining knowledge, one attains supreme peace without delay. The ignorant and untrusting and self-doubting are lost. Neither this world nor that beyond, nor happiness is for the self-doubting. Union renouncing action, knowledge severing doubt, soul composed, no actions bind, wealth winner. Therefore, severing ignorance-produced doubt in the heart with the knowledge sword of the soul, establish union and rise, Bharata. Arjuna said, Krishna, you praise renunciation of actions and also yoga. Which one of these two is better? Tell me this definitely. The Blessed Lord said, both renunciation and action yoga lead to the best, but of the two, action yoga surpasses renunciation of action. Whoever is indifferent to dualities, great armed one, is easily released from bondage. Sankhya and yoga are separate, maintain the foolish, not the wise. Whoever practices even one correctly finds the fruit of both. That state attained by the Sankhyas is also reached by the yogis. Whoever sees Sankhya and yoga as one sees. But renunciation, great armed one, is difficult to attain without union. The wise, united in yoga, quickly attain God. United in yoga, the purified soul, well controlled, controlling senses, the soul being the soul of all beings, even while acting, is not affected. I am doing nothing at all, thinks the united truth knower. Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, walking, sleeping, breathing, talking, releasing, holding, opening eyes and closing eyes, believing that the senses operate in the sense objects. Whoever acts putting actions in God, abandoning attachment, is not affected by evil, like a lotus leaf by water. With the body, mind, intuition, and even the senses alone, yogis perform action, abandoning attachment, for self-purification. United, abandoning the fruit of action, one attains complete peace. Disunited by desirous action, attached to the fruit, one is bound. Renouncing all actions with the mind, the embodied sits happily, master in the city of 9 gates, neither acting nor causing action. The Lord creates neither agency nor actions of the world, nor the union of action with fruit, but nature proceeds. The omnipresent does not take anyone's evil or goodness. Knowledge being concealed by ignorance, people are deluded by this. But those whose ignorance is destroyed by knowledge of soul, like the sun, their knowledge illuminates this supreme. Those intuiting that, thinking that, established in that, devoted to that, go not again to rebirth, knowledge shaking off wrongs. The wise look equally on a Brahman endowed with cultivated learning, on a cow, an elephant, a dog, or an outcast. Here birth is conquered by those whose mind is established in equanimity. Guiltless and impartial is God, therefore they are established in God. One should not rejoice obtaining the pleasant, nor be sad obtaining the unpleasant. Firm intuition, unconfused, knowing God, is established in God. The soul, unattached to external contacts, finds happiness in the soul. This soul, united to God by yoga, enjoys imperishable happiness. Delights born of contact are wombs of pain, having a beginning and an end, Kaunteya. The enlightened one is not content in them. Whoever is able to endure here before release from the body, the agitations originating from desire and anger is united. This is a happy person. Whoever has inner happiness, inner joy, and thus inner light, this yogi attains the nirvana of God, oneness with God. Seers attain the nirvana of God, sins wiped out, dualities dissolved, self-controlled, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. Rid of desire and anger, thoughts restrained, souls known, the ascetic's nirvana of God lies near. Making external contacts excluded, and the gaze in between the two eyebrows, making inhalation and exhalation equal, moving within the nose with controlled senses, mind, and intuition, the sage seeking ultimate liberation, rid of desire, fear, and anger, is forever liberated. Knowing me, the enjoyer of sacrifice disciplines, great Lord of all the world, friend of all beings, one reaches peace.